very happy Thursday evening to you, and thanks for joining us tonight on UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. Let's start off with weather, as we typically do, because some of us around northern Michigan are seeing some snow right now. So let's bring in our meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. Joe, are we all going to see snow in this system, or is it just kind of depending on where you are?
Kind of depends where you are. I think most of us will get some snow by tomorrow morning into even tomorrow afternoon. But if you're up in the UP, you might actually not see a whole lot out of this, the further north you are. So areas near Lake Huron, and then our south of M55 is kind of the areas that'll see the most snow in the next 24 hours. And then Maya, you know, we're looking ahead to Christmas. It looks kind of mild, actually. We're going to cool down Saturday. You got plans Saturday?
I will be traveling this weekend.
Make sure the heater works.
Yes, certainly.
It'll be a little chilly, but then we warm up somewhat going into Christmas. So we'll look at that, how much snow is on the way again, and look ahead into Christmas week a little later.
Hopefully the roads won't be too bad this weekend. Since I said I'll be traveling, and others probably will be too, so maybe you could touch on that a little later in weather as well. But let's start off with our top story tonight, which is about a Benzie County family who lost everything in a house fire except for each other. Everyone is okay. Luckily, this happened earlier in the month, and since then, the community has stepped up in big ways to support the family, including the kids' school resource officer. And our Allie Baxter has more on how this act of kindness has turned into something so much bigger.
Hey everybody, I'm at Best Buy in Traverse City.
It's one of the busiest shopping times of the year, especially at an electronics destination like Best Buy.
Just came in here to grab a computer.
That's Matt McKinley, the benevolent school resource officer at Benzie Central Schools. One of his students lost everything in a house fire in early December. It was the home of the DePel family, a single mom and her 4 kids.
Her computer burnt up and she was concerned about her grades. So I decided to take some of our donated money, run to Best Buy and pick her up a computer. We got her this computer right here for $699, okay? They felt bad that they couldn't discount the price any. Look at these people.
I explained the situation and what had happened and the outpour of the employees that came back there. I want to say there was like 6 employees that came back right away to help contribute to that family.
Kathy is one of the managers at Best Buy. When McKinley came into her store last week, she says she wasted no time jumping on the staff radio.
They got all these gifts for a family they've never met before, just because they heard about it.
Got some earbuds for the other kids. We got a laptop case, we got a backpack for one of the kids, a couple gaming cards, we got a mouse to go with it, mouse pad, all the accessories that that person would need with their laptop.
All paid for by the Best Buy employees working that night.
Out of their own pocket. They were taking their own credit cards, their own cash, and buying these at the register I was standing at. I was blown away.
McKinley posted a video on Facebook of the act of kindness, hoping to spread the Christmas spirit. He had no idea it would be viewed 136,000 times, prompting an additional outpouring of support from all across the state.
Kind of emotional, to be honest with you, because as a single parent myself, back when my kids were that age, it's unimaginable to have something like that happen to your family, especially this time of year. Like, I just felt like I needed to do something to help this family.
My favorite job I've ever had is being a dad. There's nothing you wouldn't do for your kids. You know, these aren't just students in my school. You get to know these kids a little bit better, and it's really hard to have, I couldn't just turn away. If I knew that they needed something, I can't do nothing about it.
What an incredible story, and Allie is joining us live now from our content center to tell us more about it. Hi Allie, how are you?
Hi Maya, how are you?
I am great. That story was so good. And that was the second time I've seen it. We saw it in our 6 o'clock newscast, and it made me a little emotional in the 6 o'clock. Same thing the second time watching it. It just gives me goosebumps, just how great communities come together to support those who need help. So do you know how the family reacted to all of this?
Yeah, I actually asked the school resource officer, Matt McKinley, I said, oh my goodness, you know, how is the family doing now, you know, at this outpouring of support? And they're doing well. They are still receiving support as well. They're still receiving donations that are being dropped off at Benzie Central Schools. And additionally, the mom did make a Facebook post on one of those Benzie County Facebook groups saying just thank you so much for the outpouring of support, the way that you have just wrapped your arms around my family. I think, you know, Maya, everyone can understand that this time of year especially can be really difficult if, you know, you are experiencing a loss of any kind, especially the loss of absolutely everything you own. This family also had a dog and I believe a cat as well, and that cat did not get out, but the dog did. So they are going through a lot right now. So while it may have just initially started off as a computer, it really meant so much more than that. This student that is one of McKinley's, she is a dual enrollment student, and that was one of the first things he said that she was concerned about is, how am I going to keep up with my grades? Because that's one of the only things that's still within my control right now. And he said, whatever I can do to take some of that stress away, to make life just a little bit easier, we're gonna do it.
And the amazing thing about this too is when the school resource officer went to Best Buy to purchase this laptop, obviously he shared with the Best Buy workers why he was purchasing the laptop. The workers could have been like, oh, that's great, good for you. Here's your total, like have a good day.
Right, like pat on the back, there you go.
Exactly, but not just one employee, but everyone who was there came together. And in that video that I think McKinley took, but you showed, where it kind of shows all the Best Buy workers, you could tell that some of them are pretty young too.
Yeah, that was another thing I pointed out to him as well. Is like some of these employees, they look pretty young themselves, like college or early 20s too. And he said actually, because he used to work in Grand Traverse County schools, that he knew one of those employees there, that he was her school resource officer. And a year ago, she had also lost her home in a fire. So it was very personal for her to be able to step up and give back. And I think we all saw like that gathering of all the employees in the back, that they made that call out and said, hey, if anyone wants to donate, this is what we're looking to do potentially. And so many of them came back and said, I want to donate, I want to help make somebody's Christmas a little bit brighter if I can.
And you kind of mentioned this in your story, but what was the school resource officer's reaction when all this was happening at Best Buy?
He was blown away. He said he definitely did not expect this. That was one of the questions I asked him. I said, were you surprised by this outpouring of support? Did you expect that when you walked in Best Buy? And he said, no, not at all. I just, I walked in and just said, here's what I'm looking to do because I want to be able to get her a computer of some kind. I don't know if there is a way to get a discount or anything, but this is what I'm trying to do. And he said he did not ever expect that people would just start pulling out their own credit cards and cash to buy, not just the laptop, but also all the accessories like Kathy was talking about. And also, it wasn't just stuff for the one student, it was for her siblings as well. Some of those cards and etc., those are going to her family.
This is just the perfect example of the ripple effect of sharing kindness. It starts just with one person, with one idea, and in a community, especially here in northern Michigan, that can just spread so rapidly, and it is such a beautiful thing, especially during the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I wasn't able to get into that story is that Kathy, the experience manager that we met today, she actually moved away from Traverse City for a little bit, is what she was telling me today. She actually lived in Iowa for a bit, and then she came back to this area, and she said, gosh, one thing I just so missed about Traverse City in northern Michigan is that the people are just so benevolent here and they want to give back. And it's not just this time of year, it's all year round. So, what a great reputation for our area to have.
Sure. And you mentioned that this family lost everything. They are certainly getting some help from the school resource officer, the Best Buy employees, but I'm sure there's still a lot more that they need. Are they asking for more help and more donations if people out there watching this do want to help?
They do still have a GoFundMe up if you want to provide monetary or financial donations. They do have an Amazon wish list as well, and that actually, even before McKinley went to Best Buy, had been totally taken care of by the community. He said there are still some smaller things that they'll put on there, though. I think right now, when I checked just a little bit ago, there was a heated blanket, I think like a Lowe's gift card as well. And he said for sure down the road to check in again, because right now this family doesn't have a home, but when they do have a home again, they'll need stuff like furniture. So that's definitely something that we'll be checking in on, and how to support this family.
And do we know where the family is staying in the meantime, since they did lose their home?
I believe they are staying somewhere together in the Benzie County area. I know that they are somewhere together right now.
Gotcha. Anything else, Allie, that you want to mention that we haven't talked about yet?
I think, one of the special things about doing these stories, especially this time of year, is being able to ask people's why. Why step up and do this? Why, go to Best Buy and purchase this laptop? And when you ask people that question, sometimes, Maya, they actually stumble a little bit because to them it's just, why not? Why would I not do that? So it's really fun being able to ask people their whys, why you step up. For Kathy, she said, I'm also a single mom. I could, relate. I couldn't imagine being in the same situation. And for McKinley, he said, I'm a dad, and all of my students, that's how I treat them. And it just never even crossed my mind to not step up for them.
Oh, this stuff makes me emotional.
It gives me chills.
Right, me too. Well, Allie, thank you so much for not only putting together this wonderful story and sharing this with the community, but for diving a little deeper into it with us on Unscripted. We really appreciate it. And our question of the day is related to our story, and that is, do you make it a point to help someone in need during the holidays? You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to vote. As of right now, 84% say yes, and we have a few comments on our Facebook post. Now, one person says, we make it a point to help others in need all year round. We can look at some of the other comments as the show goes on, but I do have one more local story that I want to share with you before we take our first commercial break. So the Bay Mills Indian community is bringing more renewable energy to the Upper Peninsula. The tribe will build a solar array thanks to a $17 million federal grant, and it is another major milestone for a rapidly growing reservation. And our Daniel Zivian has much more on this story.
$17.3 million from the Environmental Protection Agency, an eye-popping number.
I believe that this is the largest single grant that Bay Mills Indian community has ever received in its entire history.
The solar array will sit on an 80-acre field south of Brimley, with a primary goal of offsetting the Bay Mills tribal government's energy use. But with a substation upgrade from Cloverland Electric, the array will also bolster the Upper Peninsula's grid.
This is going to be an 11-megawatt solar array with 5 megawatts of battery storage. This will generate approximately 15.5 gigawatt hours of energy per year. That's anticipated. And then we think that will approximately create a revenue of north of $600,000 a year.
We're trying to protect 80% of the world's freshwater supply, and so every single action that we take as a tribal government, as well as a tribal community, is centered around how can we live cohesively with the natural environment.
The grant caps off a big year for Bay Mills. The tribe opened a health clinic, a children's advocacy center, and recently moved into its new administration building.
We want to be the one place that everyone wants to call home. And so we're really trying to create this holistic community that is able to provide from our youngest child to our oldest elder and create wraparound services so that no matter where you are in your life, we're able to take care of you.
The tribe says it expects to put out a bid early next year. Construction could start in the fall, though nothing is set. In Chippewa County, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.
And another tribal infrastructure project for next summer that we reported on in our 6 o'clock show, a permanent boat launch into Lake Superior near Bay Mills Township Hall. The closest boat launch right now is 7 miles away. So this launch will provide access for tribal fishermen and for the entire public, and it's funded with a $125,000 grant from the Great Lakes Fishery Trust. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but in just a few minutes, we will check back in with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix. He'll have much more on the incoming snow, how long that could last, and what the weekend is going to look like. So stay with us. You're watching Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Snow is falling in some parts of northern Michigan, and for more on that, let's turn things over to Joe Charlevoix. Joe, how long is this snow system going to last?
Well, tonight for some spots through to part of tomorrow, and then we'll get a little break over the weekend. But you were just asking the first day of winter, which is Saturday. It's going to feel like it. It's going to be a little chilly, but it's not going to last. You know, as we get toward Christmas, you know, Santa will be arriving maybe with 30s for highs. So, you know, pretty warm for Santa Claus. Let's take a look, though, around northern Michigan, Mackinac City. Quiet still, no snow there yet. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot up that way. There is some snow coming down there in Cadillac. If you look at the roads there, they're a little bit snow covered. Across the lake, snow at Green Bay, and down in Muskegon, we had some snow a little earlier, kind of covering the ground there. Three big things in the weather across northern Michigan. Snow at times into Friday. I'll show you the accumulation here momentarily, but generally 1 to 4 inches. Not a lot up in the UP. You might miss out on this one for the most part. More as you head south. Another clipper slides in later Monday. Could see some snow. It's likely Monday night into part of Tuesday, or at least early Tuesday. And then as we head toward Christmas, we mentioned that cloudy. It looks like cloudy skies Tuesday and Wednesday, but a little warmer with highs in the 30s. We do have winter weather advisories for several counties near Lake Huron because later tonight we'll get a northeast wind off the lake. We'll get some lake enhancement from Rogers City through Alpena, Ossining, down toward Escoda and Tawa City. And then our southern tier of counties, or a couple tiers of counties, Big Rapids, Ludington, Clare, a winter weather advisory there for some snow. Here's what's happening. Low pressure sits right there in Iowa tonight. As we look at the weather map, it's passing south of us. It'll cross through Indiana and Ohio, but on the northern edge of that is where all that snow is. And here it is tonight on radar, with snow extending all the way from the Dakotas right across into Michigan this evening. Here's a little closer look at some of the snow. Again, pretty widespread here from Big Rapids. It's a light snow, but snowing nonetheless through Houghton Lake, Lake City, Cadillac. We'll follow that north up toward Grayling into Charlevoix County, and then a little bit of lighter snow shower activity here to the north. Let's look at Stormcast. We'll kind of time this out heading into the weekend. There's the snow tonight. Now again, this is the middle of the night, 2:30, 3 o'clock. If you're up in the UP, not a lot up that way. The steadier snow will start to wind down tomorrow morning. It may be a little messy in the morning as our low moves away, and then see this, what happens here, we get some scattered lake effect snow. So if you're in the Grand Traverse region down toward Ludington, you might see some snow there, west of Newberry too, tomorrow afternoon. And then a little bit of lake effect snow Friday night. Saturday's lake effect snow early, but I don't think there's going to be a lot. In fact, inland areas should see some sunshine Saturday, even though it will be cold. Snow tapers off. And then Sunday, up around Newberry, that area, maybe a little bit of lake effect snow there Sunday afternoon and evening. All right, let's look at the accumulation forecast. There's through tonight. So by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're looking at 1 to 4 inches generally, less in the UP, if anything, up, say, near Paradise, Whitefish Point. And there's the total accumulation out through Friday. And again, most spots 2 to 4 inches, locally more south of Alpena, and maybe there on Boyne Falls, perhaps a little bit more snowfall. Here's the extended forecast out through Christmas and beyond into next Thursday. And again, winter arrives Saturday, chilly. A little bit of lake effect snow west of I-75 in the UP Sunday. Otherwise quiet, 20s. We get into the 30s Monday. There, just so you know, there will be probably some snow Monday afternoon and night coming in. And then as we get toward Christmas, into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it looks kind of cloudy. Maybe a couple rain showers in our southern areas Christmas Day with highs in the 30s.
Rain's not very holly and jolly.
Nah, but you know, maybe we'll try again next year.
Yeah, maybe we just all need to come together and ask Santa for some stuff.
Yes,
okay.
I completely agree.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Right.
Thank you, Joe. Stay with us. Coming up in sports, sports director Harrison Beebe sits down with a Traverse City Central alum who will be playing in the first college football playoff game this weekend. Stay with us. That story's next. 3 years ago, Josh Burnham was leading Traverse City Central to the state championship game in his senior year with the Trojans. Tomorrow night, he'll be leading the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on the field for the very first college football playoff game on a college campus. It just happens to be against my Indiana Hoosiers. Our sports director, Harrison Beebe, caught up with Josh to hear what he is expecting and looking forward to in this matchup tomorrow.
The following segment is sponsored by Jimmy John's of Traverse City.
I know it was a big deal for you to decide which school you were going to pick in that commitment ceremony back in 2021 during COVID and all that. And you picked Notre Dame for a reason. I'm sure moments like this were at the top of that list. I mean, you'll be able to brag about this for the rest of your life. You made the first ever 12-team college football playoff, and you played the first ever home game in Division I college football. So I guess, what does that all bring to mind, knowing that you're right in the middle of this hoopla?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely a dream come true. I mean, this is what you come to Notre Dame for, and just being able to go out and experience this opportunity with this team. It's an honor. It's been a great season. We've had ups and downs. Just keeping the chip on our shoulder, taking it one day at a time, and just continuing to elevate as a team. It's been the biggest goal.
And just as you figured it would go down, the Indiana State Championship in round one, what have you learned so far in covering an Indiana Hoosiers team that, besides that game with Ohio State, has looked tough to beat?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really solid team. They got a lot of good athletes, good coaches. But I mean, just like I said, it comes down to us just focusing on ourselves, taking it one day at a time.
Well, let's talk about you going from Traverse City Central to Notre Dame now. It's been, this is your third year? What would you say is the biggest difference between playing high school ball and college ball?
When I first got here, the speed of everything. But over the past couple of years, just being able to get the knowledge from coaches, some of the older players, really just play more ball. It's slowing down a lot. And let you play more free.
All the history and majesty behind Notre Dame football and getting out of the tunnel there and play like a champion. What has that all lived up to the hype? Like, is it as cool every Saturday for you as it was probably recruiting and then growing up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's not a better feeling than coming out of that tunnel with all of your best friends, going to take care of business. It's something truly special.
Exciting time for Josh, but go Hoosiers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Our question of the day today is, do you make it a point to help someone in need during the holidays? 84% of people say yes. On our Facebook page, Starla says yes, always. Ryan says, for the last decade, I made a huge point to help others. This is the first year I'll be helping no one but my family. And Tom says, I put money in every red kettle I pass. Well, that'll do it tonight for UpNorthLive Unscripted. Thanks so much for joining us. And as always, we hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock tonight.